Laura Ingraham joins us once a week, and today's the day, and she joins us from our nation's capital. Hey, Laura.
Hey, guess what, guys? When you think of the Terminator movie, remember what is it, that guy? I can't remember the name of these characters, but the silver guy who always keeps getting back up, right?
Yes.
He gets beaten down, then he keeps getting back up and coming after. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Trump, right? I mean, they knock him down, like he made these statements, they're controversial, but he keeps coming back, and everybody's scratching their heads in the establishment class.
But Laura, you know what I think's different? He actually doesn't go down. He stays up, and everybody else falls around him, expects him to fall, but nothing happens.
Maybe it's like Arnold, where he gets hit and he keeps just walking.
So we've been doing this every week, and we have all these experts weighing in on why Donald Trump is going to flame out and is going to just burn out. But yet 20,000 in Dallas yesterday. First off, before we hear it, can I get your take on why he's dominating the polls?
He's speaking bluntly about the concerns of everyday Americans.
But not specifically.
Maybe immigration is the #1 issue facing the country. And I know a lot of our friends in the establishment class, they've been yawning. I've been talking about this for 7 years. Others have as well. Mostly poo-pooed. We've been called nativist. We've been called xenophobic, anti-immigrant. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, working class people in this country have seen the effects on their lives of open borders and a failure to enforce the laws that are on the books. They're not bad people. They're not mean people. They're not horrible people. They're Americans, and they want this border sealed, and they want a sensible immigration policy to be in place. He's spoken to that concern bluntly. Probably needs to be a little bit more specific on some of the policies that he'd push forward. I agree with that. But he's speaking bluntly, and people believe that he's actually going to do it because he's not beholden to the billionaire class that a lot of the other candidates, frankly, are funded by.
But that he's a member of.
And, you know, Laura, you're one of the first national figures who really started to identify what's going on with the Trump train. You mentioned immigration. That's one of the things you talked about last night. Out there at the American Airlines Center. We got a little montage. Here's Donald Trump.
We have to build a wall, folks. We want people to be in our country legally. I have such respect for women. I cherish women. I like Carly. And I like Ben. And I like many of the people that I'm running against. I mean, many of these people are terrific people. But nobody's going to be able to do the job that I'm going to do.
Laura, he gives a political speech like nothing anybody's ever seen before.
Yeah, here's what I'll say to all the folks who think Trump is the worst thing that ever showed up, and there are a lot of them out there. Isn't the point of politics, in large part, to gather a movement of people together who share your basic outlook and who can be brought along? And isn't the point of politics to broaden the base of the party by attending to the issues and the needs of the people? It seems to me that's one of the main points of politics. I work for Ronald Reagan. Okay, I'm not saying Trump is Reagan. Trump's not Reagan. He's a different animal, but we need a movement to save this country. And one of these candidates is going to emerge as the guy to do this. Right now it's Trump. Could it be somebody else? Maybe it
Laura,
can be.
here's what surprised me about you and Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh. You always talk about true conservatives.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even think that Donald Trump he's like an authentic conservative. You're always trying to look out and see, okay, maybe he's not, maybe she is, but Donald Trump has got a lot of the areas in which you could look at to say he's not a true conservative.
Right. I agree with you. What I'm doing is analyzing this. People have been so burned by the GOP and their promises that aren't delivered upon, and frankly their lies about what they're going to do once they have the Senate or the House or the presidency. They've been so burned that they're willing to overlook a lot of kind of fuzzy areas in Donald Trump's comments, his old comments. And so what they want to do now is say, okay, what are the two issues we really care about? We care about immigration, and we care about these trade deals that have frankly sent a lot of our jobs overseas. We haven't seen a lot of benefit to the middle-income folks and the lower-income folks in these trade deals. If he can handle those two issues and do them well, then maybe we can make progress in these other areas. But I think a lot of folks are willing to kind of almost sideline some of these other issues to get it right on two big ones. That's where I think people are. I'm not endorsing anybody. I am analyzing why he can get 20,000 people in a stadium on, in the middle of September.
On a Monday night.
Never happened before. People in the establishment better understand. This is happening because people are hurting. They're not xenophobes. They're not bad people. They're not dumb, as some of our friends and some conservative publications have intimated. These aren't dumb people. These are American patriots, and they want this country turned around. Scott Walker could try to do this, and maybe he could get a huge crowd. Ted Cruz, he has a lot of talent. Carly does. Ben does. But this magic has to be corralled into a series of policies that can clear-cut what the Democrats are offering. We need some of this emotion meshed together with clear and unequivocal policies that revive the American middle class. That's what I think we need. Right now, he's the conduit for all of this frustration, and it's those two issues.
And speaking of crowds across the aisle, Bernie Sanders is bringing in bigger crowds by some accounts than Hillary Clinton. She's starting to change her MO a little bit. Her aide saying she's going to bring more humor and heart. We're seeing that just a bit with this latest interview with Mario Lopez on Extra. Listen.
He would be good, but he's not eligible under the Constitution.
Oh.
He has served his 2 terms, and I think the argument would be, as vice president, it would not be possible for him to ever succeed to the position. At least that's what I've been told. So you know it has crossed my mind.
So clearly they're talking about her husband, but we are seeing a lot different side of Hillary Clinton, but it seems very forced, doesn't it?
Up next, Billy Bush interviews Hillary Clinton. I like Billy, but I like Mario Lopez, great guy. Look, this is what she's going to do. She's going to have to soften the edges. I think ultimately it's a tough push for Hillary at this point, and all these questions looming about the email trail and the deleting emails and servers. That's going to remain. Bernie Sanders crowds in Manassas and Liberty University. That Liberty University speech of Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
I hope the establishment in both parties watch what happened last night. Trump should try to do the same thing. Maybe go to the Apollo Theater, do a speech in enemy territory about bringing back the middle class, or other Republicans, Walker, Cruz, Rubio, the rest. Go into so-called enemy territory and try to convince people who don't normally like you of your worldview. That was bold of Sanders.
It was indeed. All right, Laura, thank you very much. You got to go do your radio show.
I'll be at the debate.
We'll be watching.
I'm heading out.
All right.
All right. We'll talk to you after.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.